You wake up on a beach, cold sand in your hands. You look up and see the shattered remains of a ship, your ship. Far across the dark water, sitting on the horizon, is the mainland. That is where everyone else is. Because not that long ago, you were right there with them. You tried to unfold their maps, walk their paths, force yourself to fit in, but the mask was too heavy. And the second you took it off, the second you shared your actual ambitions, your crazy ideas, you saw it. The empty stares, the quiet doubts, the isolation. So you left. You set sail looking for something more, and you crashed here, cast away. But what if being stranded here isn't a punishment? What if almost everyone who ever reshaped the world had to become a castaway first? In 1884, Nikola Tesla went to the mainland. He sailed to America and got a job working for the most powerful inventor on Earth, Thomas Edison. Tesla tried to wear the mask. He read their blueprints, he walked their paths, he followed their rules, but no matter how hard he tried, he could not fit in. At the time, the whole world ran on Edison's system, direct current. But it was weak, it was flawed, it could barely power a single neighborhood. Tesla saw a different path, a radical, elegant one that could light up the entire globe, alternating current. And when he finally pitched his idea to Edison, Edison just laughed. He called the vision completely useless, impossible, a joke. So Tesla faced a choice, put the mask back on or leave the mainland to build what he saw in his mind. In 1887, he scraped together just enough money to rent a tiny lab. And he went to work, sleeping 2 hours a night, living in the dark, building the entire system inside his mind before he ever touched a wire. Until finally, he brought it into the real world. He flipped the switch, and it worked. But the mainland hates it when the outcast is right. Edison and the system fought back. They used the newspapers to smear his name, to make his invention look like a deadly threat. The smear campaign almost worked. His only financial backer, his one true ally, was pushed to the edge of bankruptcy. Tesla was about to lose his life's work. So he did the unthinkable. He held a contract that promised him a cut of every single watt of electricity sold. But if he demanded that money, his friend would collapse. Edison would win, and his vision would die. So to keep the idea alive, he tore it to pieces. And his sacrifice worked. At the 1893 World's Fair, he turned on his AC system. The world was stunned. But instead of settling down, he pushed it even further, a wireless energy system for the whole world. But this time, the system had enough. The capitalists cut his funding. He was back to exactly where he started, an outcast, labelled a madman. He ran out of money, and for the last 10 years of his life, he hid away in a New York hotel room. In 1943, he died there. So why should you be any different? After all that brilliance, after all that sacrifice, Tesla still died broke and alone. So maybe the world is right. Maybe you should just kill your ambitions. Kill your uniqueness. Bury the ideas that make people uncomfortable. And just go back to what is safe. Back to the herd. Back to the mainland. Put the mask back on just to fit in again. It would be so much easier to just lock those parts of yourself away. Because if this is the reward for being an outcast, why on earth would you still stay here? But we forget one thing. Tesla didn't have to die broke and alone. That piece of paper he tore up, it would have made him one of the wealthiest men in history. But if he kept it, his only ally would have collapsed. His vision would have died, and he would have been forced to sail right back to the mainland, to put his head down to build Edison's inferior system. He didn't lose, he made a conscious sacrifice. And because he chose to stay on the island, look around. The heating in your room, the entire electrical grid of the modern world, all of it pulses with his invention. The man who died in a cold hotel room built our future. And he took one thing to his grave that the mainland could never steal: the absolute pride of knowing he was right. Now, your goal might not be to light up the entire globe, but the rules of the island are exactly the same. The writer George Bernard Shaw once said that the reasonable man adapts himself to the world, and the mainland is built for the reasonable. It is safe, it is comfortable. But the unreasonable man, he forces the world to adapt to him. That is exactly what Tesla did. He refused to follow their maps. He forced the world to match his mind. You can always put the mask back on, sail back to the herd, and you will survive. But you will spend the rest of your life haunted by the ghost of what if. If you hold the line out here in the cold, even if you fail, you will go out knowing you never surrendered your life. So, the choice is yours. Will you sail back to the mainland, or will you stay out here in the dark and see what you can build?